What's up, guys? It's Josh back with another video, and welcome to the KeepItTechie channel, where we break down Linux and tech and help you level up in the tech game. Now, today we're diving into one of the most essential and straightforward commands in Linux, and that's the CP command. So whether you're just getting started with Linux or you've been using it for a long time, this command is a must-have in your toolbox. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll see just how powerful and flexible it can be. So let's copy and paste our way into some Linux knowledge, shall we? All right, so the CP command is short for copy, and as the name suggests, it is used to copy files and directories. It's one of those fundamental commands you'll find yourself using all the time, from basic file management to complex scripting tasks. And here's a few things that make the CP command so useful. It can handle single files or an entire directory. It preserves file permissions and attributes when you need to. And it supports various options to control exactly how and where files are copied. And a lot of people that have been using Linux for a long time use the CP command for everything from backing up to reorganizing files in a project. So why is the CP command such a big deal? It's all about file management. Imagine you're working on a project and you need to, let's say, back up important files before making changes, or duplicate files to test different configurations. That's one of the things I show you guys a lot. Whenever I'm showing you guys how to set up some application service, a lot of times I copy the configuration file to have a backup of it so we can go back to the original if we mess up that configuration file. So you want to always have a duplicate. But you can also move files around between directories without altering the original, which is exactly what I'm saying. And the CP command makes all of this quick and painless. It's simple enough for beginners, but packed with options that give advanced users serious control. Oh, and if you've ever been scared of overwriting files or messing things up, then you don't have worries with this command. And I'll show you guys how to use CP safely. All right, so we at the fun part where I show you guys some examples of the commands. And right now I'm in a virtual machine. This is Ubuntu 22.04. I already have the terminal open. I know this system probably has a million updates, so I'm not gonna update it, but we're gonna go right into the man page or the manual. And that's something I tell you guys every single time I'm showing you guys one of these commands within the command line. Most of the time they have what they call a manual or a man page. And this gives you all the information about that command. Now, some of these older commands, they may not have a man page. I'm not sure if copy is gonna have one. I think it is, but the way to find out is just type man and then whatever command you're trying to find out about. And we're trying to find out about the copy command or CP command. So let's press enter and that'll open up the actual command for us. It'll walk through the synopsis, how to actually use it, the description, as well as the options and all that good stuff that goes along with it. Now, like I always say in these videos, I'll let you guys read this at your leisure because there are a lot of options in here and I can't really get to them in one video. You know what I'm saying? As far as all the options, but I can at least show you some of the most important ones to get you started. So let's go down and quit out of the man page, but that's how you find all the help you need for this command. Now, what I'm gonna do is show you guys in the configuration files. So let's go into our ET directory. This is a great place to start because I know there's nothing in my home directory for this system. So I'm gonna just do an LS. It's gonna be like a whole bunch of stuff under here, but we can go through and find something. Let's see what we got in here. We have, let's see, a bash RC, the internet. Okay. So that's something that pops up when you log into the Linux server, that issues.servit or issues.net. I believe that's the file that has like the information, or you can edit that file in order to, and actually let me go to a smaller directory. That way it's just not a whole bunch of files in there. Let's go under Samba and see what's under there. So let's go to Samba, let's go to that directory and ls this directory right fast. Yeah, so that's working with a little bit less of a file. So let's run ls again. So let's say we want to make a copy of the smb.conf file because we want to make some changes to it or whatever. So I'm going to show you the base way of actually using the copy command. So all you got to do is is type CP and then the file that you want to copy first. So smb.conf. And then what you want to do is name it something else. You can't name it the exact same. It's just Windows. You can't have two files with the same name. Except with Linux, it's a bit more specific with the naming. You can have files with the same name, but they could have different cases. And Linux will look at it as a different file. But that's just going into the weeds. Let me go down and show you guys the copy. But so we have to name it something else. And what I always do when I'm making changes to configuration files, I always type the same name out and then I'll put dots and then BCK. Now I know other people use different things. They'll have a different little way of doing it, backing up the configuration files, but that's just the way I do it. And I forgot we are under E and everything is owned by root under here. So we have to type sudo. So let's do sudo copy and boom. So we copied that file. Let's go down to LS's directory again. As you can see, that's that newly copied file. So that's an exact copy of this original file. So any text that's in there and all that good stuff that is in that file as well. All right, now let's say we want to copy a file and we want to put it in a specific location. Well, you can do the exact same thing with the command. You just have to type out that directory. So let me show you guys. So we can type copy, and what I'm gonna do is copy it into like my home directories. Let's do the smb.conf. And then that BCK and tab it out. And then we want to, this is where you put where you want the file to go. So we could just type home, Josh, and then let's put it under our documents and go down and press enter. And the reason I didn't have to type sudo because we're copying it to a space that we own, which is my home directory. So my home directory has that permissions. So I don't have to type sudo. And all I'm doing is making a copy of the file. I'm not editing that file in that location. So just wanted to explain that to you, but let's go down and clear again. And let's go down and CD and just play around with that file within our documents directory. So let's type CD and then let's go into our documents directory, LS, because I knew we didn't have any files in here. That's another reason why I wanted to go in under each just to show you guys something, at least some files with something in there. And then let's just run through and do another copy again. So copy that SMB. Let's say we want to make a whole copy of it again, but we want to name it back to the original name. So all you have to do is type SMB conf, and then I'm gonna back it out and put F on there and press enter. And now we got that file back, the original file name that we had back. And let me just cat it out right fast, just show you guys something on the screen so you guys can see something popping up. But that's that configuration file for Samba. Now let's go down clear again. And one thing I want to show you guys is you can copy a full directory. So let's go back to our C directory. And what we're going to do is copy this whole Samba directory. Let's ls again under each and just show you what we're doing. We can specify the full folder name. And let me show you. All you have to do is type cp and then whatever the name of the folder is. And we're going to copy that Samba directory. And you don't have to put that / on the end of it. And you can also put the full path or the relative path, however you want to do it. Like we can do etc and then Samba. And then that's that directory. It's going to copy that one directory at the end, the last directory at the end, but that's just the full path to the actual directory. And if you stop there at the folder level, it's going to copy the folder and all the files underneath it. Now, let me show you guys what will happen once we do this. Let's copy it into my documents directory. And I can't type tonight, but Josh. And then we want to copy it and let's just place it in our home directory. That's fine. That's the location we want to move that Samba direct or copy it to. So let's go down and press enter. Boom. I just want to show you guys this. It's going to say it cannot copy a directory. So this points me to the next option I want to show you guys. You have to use -or with this command, and that's for recursive. Essentially, whenever a folder has some files underneath it, you have to specify that you want to copy the folder and the files. Otherwise, it's just gonna fail because it has files underneath it and it can't just copy the folder without the files in there. So you have to specify that. But that's just one of those little quirks you'll run into, but it's -or for that option. And this is recursive, and this will copy everything from Samba directory and all the files underneath it and the top level directory, which is Samba. So let's go down and press enter and it'll copy that over to our home directory. And if we cd and we can go back to our home directory, press ls, you will see that we have that Samba directory in here. Super cool, right? Now, there's another option I want to show you guys right fast, and we'll go in that Samba directory, but it's the -p flag. And this ensures permissions and ownership and timestamps are preserved. And this is great when you need an exact replica of a file. So you want to use that -p. That will preserve everything that's in it. And let's say you're moving into a different directory where there are different permissions and all that stuff. It'll preserve all of that when you move it to that location. So what I'm gonna do is remove that, and I showed you guys the remove remove command, I believe. And if it hasn't came out, it's coming out pretty soon, but we're gonna delete this Samba directory in its location. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna go back into that etc directory. And then one thing I wanna do is ls-la. And this will give us all the information about these files in here. And actually, let's go down and make it bigger so we can see everything. There we go. So you guys should be able to see all the file names. So if we go back up here to Samba, wherever it is, it should be at the top. There we go. So this is what it means by permissions, and it's gonna keep all of that. It's gonna preserve all of that. The ownership, timestamps, all that stuff. So let's go down and try it right fast by copying the Samba directory to our home directory and see what happens. So let's go copy and then -p, and then I may have to use sudo, but we're gonna see right fast. So let's type the full path so I don't confuse you guys. But under etc and then that Samba directory, and then we want to move that to our home directory. So home Josh, and then also I want to take this backslash or / off, and let's press enter, and it's not gonna allow us to do it. Oh yeah, we got to use the R2, so we have to put them together. So let's go RP. There we go. So RP, boom, you can run commands together. Now if we ls our home directory, let me show you guys something right fast. So we type ls-la, press enter, and let's look for that Samba file. It preserved the permissions. Now it changed ownership. That's one thing it did change, but it preserved the permissions as well as the timestamp and all of that good stuff. So this is a good way of actually copying things. Let's say you want to back up things, you want to preserve permissions. That way you could just write it right back to the location, you know, that you got it from, without having to worry about any permission issues and all that good stuff. So we want to use that -p. You definitely want to learn that and use that. Now let's go back into that Samba directory because we have those configuration files, and I'm talking about the one in my home directory. Let's ls again. Let's just run a ls-la. Got these files right here that we want to look at right fast. So now what I want to do is show you guys the interactive mode, which is -i. And what we're going to do is just do the same type of copy that we did previously. So we're just going to do cp, and we're going to copy that smb.conf file. And let's say we want to back up that configuration file like I was saying. So all we have to do is type smb.conf, and then we want to overwrite that backup file. Let's say we made some changes to this configuration file and we want to overwrite that backup file. One thing you can always do is whenever you're doing something like this is putting -i for interactive mode. And like I said, it basically prompts you before overwriting a file. It's been a lifesaver for me. I use it a lot just when I'm messing around with certain files that are critical. Like, you definitely want to use that I flag. That way it'll just give you something to prevent you from overwriting, because as you can see, you can just overwrite stuff. And actually, let me take the -i off so you guys can see, but it'll just copy and overwrite that file and it's gone now. So whatever changes we had, it's gone. But if you put that -i in there, let me show you guys that, and press enter, it'll at least give you something saying, are you sure you want to overwrite this file? And it's the last step, last result. You can just type yes, press enter, it'll overwrite that file. But this is just a step. You could probably add this to your bash or C, and it'll always run copy -i, so you have the interactive mode, at least starting off, so you don't accidentally overwrite files that you didn't mean to. And like I said, you can combine these flags and you can type them out different ways. You'll see examples where it's written out like this. So let's say you got -i, let's say you want to put -r in there and -p to preserve. You can type them out like that separately, or you can type them out like this. So pi, and you can run them all together like that. And you only have to put one dash. That makes it a whole lot quicker on the keyboard. So you're not typing a whole bunch of dashes and trying to find the next letter to put the separate options. You can run them all together. And so I just run that quickly, but yeah, that's not going to do anything. Like, I don't care about that. But that's a good way of actually running all your options together. And Recursive, it didn't matter, but that was for directories, so you can copy all the files underneath it. But I just ran it against that file. It doesn't matter. If it's there, it'll still just copy the file like it normally would. And that's it. Everything you need to know about the CP command. So whether you're managing personal files or working on enterprise systems, mastering this command will save you tons of time and headache. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another Linux video from the KeepItTechie channel. And as always, drop a comment down below if you got questions or want me to cover another command in future videos. But you guys know, like I always say, stay curious, stay learning, and most importantly, keep it techie. Peace. Yo, what's up, y'all? Listen, if you've been sitting there thinking about making a move, let me tell you, tech is where it's at. I don't care where you coming from, whether you've got a degree, a GED, or just pure hustle. There's room for you in this game. You see, tech is more than just keyboards and code. It's solving problems, creating opportunities, and building the future. You already have what it takes because tech doesn't care where you start. It cares where you're willing to go. You can teach yourself Linux, learn Python, break into cybersecurity, or even launch your own app. And the resources are out here for free. And yes, you heard me, free. Now, yeah, it's gonna take effort. You'll have to grind, but think about this. The time is gonna pass anyway. So why not invest it in a skill that'll change your life? I mean, tech doesn't just pay the bills, it opens doors to freedom, stability, and generational wealth. So stop doubting yourself, start small, stay consistent, and keep building. Because this isn't just a career, it's a movement. And guess what? You belong here. So let's get it, because the future is yours to build. Keep it techie.